Dan Rogers, can I help you?
Hi, Dan. It's Jess Smith. How are you?
No, hanging in there about you.
Oh, I'm good. Trying to keep warm.
Okay.
Ben told me to give you a call, that he said that we are okay.
Okay. All right. All right. We'll get them to counter the contract and then get your signature again after they counter.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, Jessica.
Uh,
We might get there yet.
oh my gosh, I know.
All righty.
Thank
We'll be,
you.
we'll be in touch.
At some point, dreams stop living in your head and start demanding space, just as this bank barn has done since its standing, which is estimated to be in the early to middle 1800s. Long before us, long before power tools and deadlines and to-do lists. It's seen generations come and go, seasons change, and work done the hard way.
Hi, I'm Ben.
And I'm Jess, the maker behind Script and Grain, and this is where our business, our family of 7, and a leap of faith all collide. We don't have the perfect plan, just a shared vision and the willingness to figure it out together.
So, property update. As you can see, I'm back in winter gear because it is the end of October, and the property on Carlisle Street has been a lot. And I think it's this way with any property, but you go to the township, they need something from the engineers, who need something from stormwater, and there's all these connecting dots, but they all need to connect to each other at one place at one time, and it's a lot. So we are actually finally getting the ball rolling on Carlisle Street when a barn that we had our eyes open on for almost a year now went up for sale. We went and looked at it right away. We put in an offer. They countered, and I just called our realtor, Dan Rogers, to accept the counter offer. So we are waiting on the contract for me to sign the counter, and there's a potential now. I don't want to go in and say, yes, it's ours, we got it, dreams are coming true, because it's going to be a lot of work. This barn is humongous, and I know that there's a potential for other people to operate out of it. My whole workshop can be down there. It's just set up electrically how I need it to be. The bones on this place are amazing. It needs a little love, needs a little bit of a new roof. So it is also going to take some time, but it will get me out of here and set up somewhere that I could operate better. So, I'm excited. I'm excited, sad, bittersweet. I don't know. Like, the emotions just are all over the place, because when you make this kind of decision, it affects the whole family. It affects future plans that we've had going on. Every time we think that we're moving forward, we're moving back in not just one area, but maybe multiple areas. So it is tough and hard, and not all the glitz and glamour as running a brick-and-mortar or a standalone workshop. It's not as smooth of a process and as gung-ho as I thought it would be. So that's my initial reaction. Stay tuned. We'll see what happens from here. Oh, what happens from here? Okay, so we got the counter offer. We need to sign that, but then we need to go to the township because this place is zoned residential, but a contractor was operating out of it. They did have that clause grandfathered in that people who are contractors can operate out of it. So I don't necessarily qualify, so we're gonna have to go to the township and say, can I please operate here? And see what they say. I think we'll have 30 days to do that, so stay tuned, it's about to get wild. It is day 6 of working on this property. 6 days ago, we put in our offer. It was accepted by the seller with no kick-out clause, which means that even if other people put in offers, it is still pending all the things that we need to do in order to solidify this sale. We know the seller, and it has been a blessing in disguise that, actually not in disguise, it's just been a blessing that she is so willing to work with us in order to help us get what we want with
this property that we put an offer in on, and in all the hurdles and leaps that we need to go through in order to solidify a property purchase, just knowing that she's on our side and she's been answering questions and helpful, it just takes so much stress off of us that we'd otherwise probably spend a great amount of time digging into, researching, making phone calls, and delaying this process even further. Since we put in that offer, it's been 6 days. It is October 30th, and we talked to the township, who said that in order to continue using the property as it previously was, as a commercial office and workshop, we need to file a variance in order to get it approved, because the property is zoned in a residential district. So I spent the past couple days going through and putting together this application that will help us hopefully get a hearing in order to have the usage that we would love to have for this property approved. The property itself is a barn. So it was never built for residential purposes. And since, oh my gosh, for many years, it's been used for trade. It's been used as an electrical contracting offices and workshop, as well as plumbing and HVAC. And hopefully we can just continue that. There's no livable space in there currently because it is a barn. There's no kitchen. There are offices and commercial electricity, commercial lighting, a commercial parking lot that fits 20 cars. And we just hope that goes in our favor, that it can be a continued use for what we hope to. In addition, though, we also would love to be able to have a small retail store within there. My complete vision is the workshop down at the bottom floor of the barn, a small retail area where I can also do consultations and meet with clients, a workshop area, so maybe we could have get-togethers and gatherings. And there's a third floor in the barn that honestly I'm just not, I don't know yet, but one step at a time. Now I have to submit the variance no later than tomorrow, so I didn't have a lot of time to put this together, and that's because they need to put the sign outside of the barn that lets the public know that there is going to be a hearing the 4th Tuesday of November, which is November 25th. It's 26 days from now. And in this variance application, there's a lot of details in here that I had to dig in order to find out how tall buildings were, the current structure. I had to get pictures. I had to find addresses and names of the residences that are next door. I included a cover letter, which I know isn't necessary, and I don't even know if they're going to read it, but it just helps it look a little polished. And I had to find the exact zoning ordinances in which I was applying the variance for, and basically defend my case with that. Now, typically the seller would also need to sign because it's not in our name yet, but I'm hoping that our pending contract is sufficient, and hopefully this will just be easy for me to go in there and give the application. To show you a little bit further, this is the variant application that is on their website. We actually know a very sweet person who is with zoning at the township, and she emailed me this application directly. So I have my information. I had to have all the property information figured out, and these are the requirements and details of the process, as well as additional items that they needed to know. So this is where they told me that I needed to have the site plan, I needed to have photographs, I needed to have the neighbors' addresses and names provided, my cover letter, and then this was part of the actual application, the brief description of proposed use. And I had to be very blunt about how this was never intended for a residency. Barns aren't built to have people in them. They're made for cattle. So I went from that to how it was a trade use, and it goes through different questions that are directly related to the variances, how it will be a hardship on me and not a hardship on the community around it. And we signed off. So the hardest part, there is only a couple questions, but it's probably what took the longest, because this is a hearing that will take place in November. You have to be so critical about your language, in that for me, it'd be word vomit because I am excited about the property. For Ben, he's my level-headed guy. So he went through and kind of edited everything, cleaned it up, got to the point, and it's not like we're trying to get away with anything. Everything in here is 100% honest, but we just don't want to say the wrong words or have them hear the wrong words and associate or negative connotations. So it is a game. Here's the map.
And then this was our pending contract. I guess from there, it'll just kind of be a waiting game. I'm going to schedule an inspection, a home inspection, and we'll have an electrician come to take a look. We'll have plumbing come and take a look. I know it's going to need a new roof, so we'll probably try to get all those ducks in a row. And if it's approved, it's really move-in ready in the midst of a holiday season. But we're going to continue to move forward with that too. So I'm off to the township building. Wish me luck. Today is day 7 that we have been under a pending contract, and within a couple hours of me submitting the variance, one of the people in the zoning called me and said, I have good news and bad news. The good news is that I found a loophole in the ordinances that would allow me to use the barn, which I'm currently standing in order to continue trade use, but I had to refill out another application for a special exception. So we got on that right away, and I just submitted the special exception today. So now we have 2 meetings to go to in about 25 days, and it's going to be a long process. So I am actually here now because I'm meeting an inspector, and then we have an electrician and an HVAC person coming as well, just to look over everything and let us know what the damage will be in order to get this to where we want it to be. So stay tuned. Okay, so tonight is the night. It is the first of 2 township meetings that Ben and I need to attend in order to go over our intentions and plans with the barn. And when we had made an offer on the barn, we made it contingent upon that I will be able to operate my workshop through there. Now, originally I was told I needed to apply for a variance, which I did to be compliant, but then I also went ahead and dug into the township ordinances and found one that said that we can use a residential property, which is what it's zoned for, and have it go from one non-conforming use to another, as long as it's of similar, equal, or lesser in nature. In short, because ordinances are just one run-on sentence. So the good news is I only had to apply for a special exception. We got the special exception in almost a month ago, and now it is finally time to present our case, our intentions, and what our hopes are for this property. And I'm hopeful. I'm not gonna lie, I really have my hopes up. I think that what we really need to stick with is to show that how we're gonna merge in with the community, we're not gonna be a disruption, and that operating on a much lesser scale than what it has been in the past is what we think would happen. So I have like 4 pages of notes here that I am going to review before we head into this meeting. And the downside is we don't get to know tonight what they decide. They're simply a recommending body to the meeting that will happen on Tuesday, at which that point they will vote at that meeting. So I'm gonna have 5 more days of my stomach in knots, and with this feeding my soul, thank goodness the next 5 days are super busy because I'm going to need them to be. But with that, I'm going to get back into looking at these pages here, and I'll let you know how it goes. Okay, so that meeting went overwhelmingly well. I'm confident in what our argument is. I'm just not confident in knowing who I'm speaking to and what I'm supposed to present. But Ben handled most of it, so I got to give him a lot of the credit. He is well versed in working with townships and things like that, so it was just very helpful to have him there and help speak on my behalf for this. But everyone voted to recommend our use for the barn at Tuesday's zoning hearing board meeting, and we just need to present our case. Their biggest concern was with parking if we were to have retail there, and the flow of traffic in and out of that area. So we're going to print out a map, as I already presented with them, and just kind of draw out where parking would be and where parking spaces would go. I mean, it's something we're going to have to do anyway, but I think it's the last thing that we really need to do in order to be prepared for the board. So now we wait, and again, trying not to get our hopes up.
So here I am in another parking lot, just giving you an update. In case you just couldn't tell from my smile, tonight was the zoning board meeting that we formally asked for a special exception on the barn that we are under contract with, contingent upon how the outcome of the meeting went. And the board voted unanimously in favor of letting me operate scripting grain from the barn. I think that this is the first time I'm verbally saying it, but Scripting Grain will not only have its own workshop, but also a storefront as well. This is something that I never dreamed of because I didn't know that it might even be a possibility. I'm over the moon excited, and I wish Ben was here so that we could record something together, but kids are everywhere, so we had to conquer and divide. I did just want to get my initial reaction. You know, I'm still processing everything, but wow, it's just crazy how things happen. And even the story of how Scripting Grain started, how I left my teaching career right before COVID and took a chance. It's so serendipitous. And in January, actually, I think January 25th, so today's November, 11 months ago today, we settled on a piece of land for me to build my workshop. And it was drug out. We wanted to break ground in May and then June and then hopefully in the fall, and it didn't happen. And we were patient. I was patient, I should say. And this came along. Ironically, this barn several years ago, we told a family member that, hey, if it ever goes for sale, let us know. And it did. And I don't know if it was the right time or not, but Ben also told me before, you know, sometimes when you bite off more than you can chew, you just need to chomp like hell to figure it out. And that's what we are going to do. And we're going to figure it out. We're going to make it work. And Scripting Grain is just going to be moving to a new home and hopefully growing in order to fit the structure that it's in. That's the update from here. We just need to move forward to close on the property, and hopefully in the new year we will be moving my equipment and setting up shop in the new home of Script and Grain.